Welcome. In this tutorial, we're going to cover the loading and unloading of your semi-automatic pistol and revolver. But before we get started, let's be sure to always follow core safety rules. We want to make sure that the barrel of the gun is always pointed in the safest direction. Never allow that barrel to cross anything you're not willing to destroy. Also remember that your trigger finger is indexed on the frame until you're actually ready to fire. And don't forget, we treat all guns at all times as if they were always loaded. What I'm working with here when it comes to loading and unloading, these cartridges are what's known as dummy rounds, or they're also known as snap caps, S-N-A-P caps. They do not explode. They do not project out of the weapon. They are simply for training purposes. And I would encourage every person tuning into this video to incorporate them with your tools. They're great for manipulating the weapon, becoming proficient, and creating malfunctions and how to remedy them. So we're going to start off with the revolver in this case. My checking of the revolver is a bit unconventional. It is your choice on whether or not you wish to incorporate this in your procedures. So, of course, barrel is in a safe direction. Trigger finger is indexed on the frame. What I do personally, and what many professionals do, is they take their support hand index finger, physically feel whether or not there's an obstruction or cartridge in that barrel, and then we check with our eyes, making sure that the cylinder is empty. Once again, double check with that finger and eye. I deem this weapon to be clear. I follow the same procedure with the semi-automatic pistol. Of course, barrel is pointed in the safest direction. My trigger finger is indexed on the frame. Here's where it could be a little dangerous, and this is going to be your choice on whether or not you implement it. What I do personally is take my support hand index finger and physically feel whether or not there is a cartridge or obstruction in that ramp or barrel. I then always double check looking down that magazine well to see whether or not there's a magazine or obstruction in there. Let's double check again, guys, with that finger and eye. I deem this weapon to be clear. Where some may not like the procedure of sticking your finger in that ramp is if you were to release the slide and your finger was in there, whammo, that's going to hurt. My thought is I would rather have a flesh wound on my finger than have an accidental discharge, which could cause a person death or great harm. By the way, the reason why I mentioned that is sometimes a person will unload their weapon. They will believe that the weapon is unloaded. However, there is still a cartridge in that chamber or in that ramp. And though they've taken out the magazine, they believe that there's nothing in there. They release the slide, they go to do a dry fire check, and the gun goes off. So that is why I do that. Ultimately, that is going to be your choice whether or not you choose to implement it. Starting off with the revolver of the loading and unloading. So to open up the cylinder on this revolver, watch my thumb. Thumb is pressing forward on this lever. While pressing forward, my index finger kicks the cylinder out. As of this point, this revolver is ready to be loaded. I simply grab each dummy round, and drop it into the cylinder. Once that cylinder is loaded, close it, and this weapon is ready to be fired. Bang, bang, bang. To unload the revolver, going to follow the same procedure, guys. Thumb forward, index out. And if these cartridges were real, they wouldn't fall out easily. I want you to watch my thumb here. Placing my thumb on this extractor, I simply press in. As you can see, those cartridges begin to fall out. All right. We then check with our finger and our eye. Always double check again, finger and eye. I deem it to be clear. Let's do it again. To open up the cylinder of this revolver, thumb forward, index out. Simply grab each cartridge, drop it into the cylinder. Once your cylinder is loaded, close it. It's that simple, and this weapon is ready to be fired. Bang, bang, bang. To unload, thumb forward, index out. We would then take our support hand. Watch my thumb here is pressing on that extractor, simply pressing down or inward, and no spent rounds have come out. We, of course, then double check with that finger and eye. Finger and eye. If you're looking for simplicity, Revolver just may be the way to go. I'm a big fan of them. Moving on to the semi-automatic pistol. Difficult? No. A few additional steps? The answer is yes. In this case, I am right-handed, so I'm going to hold the magazine in my left hand, my support hand. What I'm using now is the 9mm round, this dummy round, and I'm going to pinch the projectile, the orange part, with 3 fingers. I'm pinching the projectile with my thumb, index, and middle finger. Clenching the magazine as a fist. I want to be right in front of this lip here, right in front of that lip here. The first one should be easy. Pinching with 3 fingers, I simply go down and in. Each subsequent round, I'm going to assist with either my thumb or my index finger. Doesn't matter, as long as you can get this done. So I'm going to choose to use my thumb. I'm depressing the spring by pushing down on that cartridge with my thumb. Once again, grabbing another projectile, pinching with 3 fingers, thumb, index, and middle finger. I want to be right in front of this lip here. How about this? Where silver meets orange. Where silver meets orange. I simply go down, right in front of that lip there, and in. Let's try it again. Pinching with 3 fingers, assisting with my thumb, right in front of this lip here, where silver meets orange, all right? Pinching, pushing down, and in. Once your magazine is loaded, you would then retrieve the semi-automatic pistol. Of course, barrel is in a safe direction, trigger finger is indexed on the frame. Notice the orange part, the projectile, is facing towards the ramp of the barrel, all right? So I'm going to take that magazine and seat the magazine into the weapon. All right, now I have a couple of different options on finalizing the charging of this weapon. Option number 1, my thumb is going to rest on top of this slide lock. See this slide lock right here? My thumb is going to rest on top of it and press down. Weapon is charged and ready to fire. Bang, bang, bang. To unload this particular style semi-automatic pistol, it's ambidextrous, a little bit different design. The magazine release is actually here on the trigger guard, and it is available to me both on the right-hand side. It is also available to me on my left-handed side, all right? So let's try it first with my right hand. To take the magazine out, my middle finger is going to press down on that magazine release, all right? Magazine is now out of the weapon. Don't forget, there is still a cartridge in that chamber. Even though the magazine, guys, is out of the weapon, there is still likely a cartridge in that chamber. And if that cartridge was real, that gun would have gone off. So let's go backwards here. So the magazine is inside the weapon, all right? I wish to take the magazine out. This time I'm going to manipulate it on the left-hand side by simply pressing down on this magazine release. All right, press down. Well, try that again. Okay, I press down on the magazine release. Magazine is out first. Do not forget, there is still a round in that chamber. We need to get the round out of the chamber. Once again, checking with our finger and our eye. Always double check again, finger and eye. All right, let's try that again. To load the semi-automatic pistol, I'm going to take that magazine, seat the magazine into the weapon. All right. Earlier, I used my thumb by pressing down, and that's okay. This time, I'm going to go with a palm and 4 fingers. All right, let's try to get a different angle here. Notice my fingers here on the slide. My fingers are not wrapped all the way around. Proper manipulation would be the fingers are on that slide only. All right, let's spin it around here. Palm, 4 fingers. By the way, watch that the meat of your hand does not get caught in that slide portion. All right, metal on flesh on metal would hurt. Okay, so palm, 4 fingers. Pull back and let go. All right, this gun is ready to fire. Bang, bang, bang. Once again, to unload, magazine always out first. Do not forget there is still a round in that chamber. We need to get that round out of the chamber. Of course, we then check with our finger and our eyes. Always double check again. Finger and our eyes. I deem the weapon to be clear. All right. It is your choice on which direction you want to go when it comes to opening that or releasing a slide, whether it be with a palm and 4 fingers or, of course, on that slide lock. Now, how did I lock open the slide? Let's work on that for just a moment. Earlier, to release a slide, you saw that my thumb pressed down, and that is correct. What we're going to do is just the opposite. Once the slide is completely rearward, my thumb is actually going to press up. All right, so let's see how this works. I have my hand on the slide. I'm going to pull that slide all the way back, and my thumb presses up. All right, that's how you lock open that slide. Let me try it again. I'm going to release. Get my hands on this slide here. Gonna press that slide all the way back. Thumb up. Locks that slide open. So, in regards to the magazine, to take used cartridges out of the magazine, my thumb is simply going to press forward. Now, if you don't cup it, they're going to boing all the way out of my camera's angle there, okay? What I would recommend that you do is cup it with a support hand, and to take the cartridges out of the magazine, my thumb simply presses forward, and I catch each one of them on my hand. You don't have to go chasing them thereafter. Folks, I hope that you found this tutorial on loading and unloading useful. I ask that you please subscribe, like, share, and of course, feel free to comment as I can hopefully aid you with any questions that you may have. Thank you for tuning in. Stay safe.